Welcome to LeonCo and welcome to this Monday's video, and continuing with our topic on July for student loans, we'll be talking about the risks of acquiring a student loan. And we would just want to simplify it to 3 simple risks that you'll encounter if you take a student loan, if you're thinking about a student loan. And this is something that you should keep in mind at the moment that you want to continue studying, if you want to start studying, that these risks are something that you should always be aware of at the moment that you want to decide taking a student loan instead of taking a personal loan or paying in other ways, having a scholarship or whatever forth of your way of studying. So the first thing that we want to talk about when acquiring a student loan is that if you've never taken a student loan, if you've never had a job, or you've never worked, you'll probably be starting your life or starting your career with an enormous amount of debt. If you've started a student loan throughout your university year, your college year, or your education throughout your life, that acquiring a student loan this early in your life or acquiring a student loan to continue in your studies will eventually figure out its way to having you debt in the long run and starting your life with an enormous amount of debt. And this is something that you should always be aware and is something that you should have peace with at the moment you take a student loan, because this is a reality that you'll face when you acquire a student loan, that you'll start your life with debt, and that will be starting your life with 10, maybe 20 steps backwards in your progress. So tip number 2, the second thing that you should always keep in mind when acquiring a student loan, and this is something that we are all tied up if we have student loan, and it's that it's non-dischargeable. And what does non-dischargeable mean? Well, maybe throughout your life, and hopefully you won't ever face this situation, but you'll face a situation of bankruptcy. You'll go bankrupt because you can't afford money, all the logistics about bankruptcy. But one of the small things, or one of the few things that don't come into bankruptcy or don't apply to the law of bankruptcy are student loans, so they're non-dischargeable. Even though you're bankrupt, even though you don't have money to pay all of your debts, student loan debts will not be forgiven, and they will always stick with you. So at the point of your life where you figure out yourself that you don't have any money and you want to do a reset on your financial life and you want to declare bankruptcy, know that your student loans will not do a reset with you. They will always follow you wherever you go. And finally, the third tip, or the third thing that you should always keep in mind when you're acquiring a student loan, is that if you don't start paying your student loan early, if you have a lot amount of student loan and you wait throughout your life, throughout your career, and you hold them back, you ignore them for a couple of years, or maybe you're just doing the minimum payment, you'll eventually be paying a lot more. And I specifically say a lot more money that you acquire from your student loan debt, because eventually you will just be paying interest and not be paying on your principal. So you could be spending 20, maybe 30 years of your life paying off a student loan that eventually you paid off in the first 5 years, but all the interest that grew and all the interest that you've been paying off, you won't be paying none of the money that you took from your student loan. So this is something that I believe this is the most important thing that you should keep in mind. That if you don't pay your student loan often, you don't pay your student loan early, if you don't take literally half of the money that you're earning in your career, or maybe a big chunk of money that you're earning into your career, and paying those student loans off early, eventually, for example, a student loan of $30,000, eventually you could be paying upwards from $60,000 to $70,000, maybe $80,000 off of student loan debt, because of all the interest that you'll be paying, and maybe all the time that student loan has been gaining interest and gaining lots and lots of money that you would have to pay that you didn't use. So keep this in mind at the moment that you take a student loan, at the moment that you're considering taking a student loan, or maybe keep this in mind if you already have a student loan. So I hope these 3 realities or 3 facts help you a lot, maybe opened your eyes at the moment that you want to take a student loan, or maybe you didn't know these things and already have a student loan, but always keep this in mind. So leave us a like, leave us a comment, let us know what you think about this video series, and if it's useful, let us down in the comments. Let us know what things are useful, and we check out our other videos on a student loan that will be popping up in your description below. but always remember to have that king mentality.